Welcome to Retirement Decoded with your host, Scott Tucker, where we break down the complexities of retirement planning to give you clear, actionable advice. Whether you're just starting out or getting ready to retire, Scott's here to help you make informed decisions and secure your financial future. Tune in each week as we simplify the process and decode the path to a stress-free retirement. Now, here's your host, Scott Tucker.
Welcome back to the podcast, Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. My trusty podcast sidekick, as most of the time, is Associate Advisor Andriy Judi. Say hello, Andriy Judi.
Hello, Andriy Judi.
Andriy Judi, that's a full mouthful, isn't it? I always stumble, mumble, and stutter step. We have a question today from Judi. Oh, before I get too far along, Andriy, I had to let folks know we're located in Chicago, Illinois, first floor of the Valspar building. We're in O'Hare Plaza. We're about 7 minutes from O'Hare International Airport, ORD, as they say, the call letters. And we help folks throughout the United States and its territories. Geez, I cannot speak. The United States and its territories. How's that? And so we're federally licensed as investment advisor representatives. So we can help folks all over the place. If you're looking at our phone calendar, go to tuckerretirement.com and we'll talk to you over the telephone, get your questions answered, your answers questioned. We don't charge for that at all. Today's question comes from Judi. Judi says, Scott and Andriy, today I emailed my advisor of 5 years that I was going to be moving my $800,000 to Fidelity. I thought it was the only right to give him the heads up. His response, quote, okay, all the best, unquote. We always had a nice relationship. I felt disappointed, but I guess I'm naive. Well, Judi, you expect a big, mushy, emotional response out of this, but let's reread what Judi did. Today, I emailed my advisor of 5 years. So after 5 years, Judi, you sent your advisor an email, which is really a Dear John letter. It's like, Andriy, I'm leaving you. Okay. All the best. Yeah. No, I mean, like this is a really, Judi, if you're really, this is a serious 5 year relationship and you handled it with an email, Andriy, that's like a text breakup.
Yeah, if I'm the advisor, I'm not showing my wounds.
Well, the thing that I thought was funny about this is she already made her decision. She expects an argument.
Yeah, I mean,
question mark.
You would think that she'd be happy that he's not giving her pushback, and he's happy for her.
This isn't like I don't know if I'm going to have any savvy retirement planning advice in this episode.
Yeah,
it might be more like the like Judy's got more. What's that? Judy's got more drama than Telemundo, right? Picking on Judi. So today I emailed my advisor of 5 years that I was going to be moving money, my $800,000 to Fidelity. I think, Andriy, a lot of folks would be surprised how much a financial planner does not make on $800,000,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
A financial advisor doesn't manage $800,000 and make $800,000 for themselves, right? So it doesn't work like that. So today I emailed my advisor of 5 years that I was going to be moving my $800,000 to Fidelity. I thought it was only right to give him a heads up. Judi, that's not a heads up.
That's just a goodbye.
It's like a goodbye note. Hey, I left.
Yeah, I mean, as the advisor,
there's broccoli in the fridge.
As the advisor, you get a notice on your end that somebody's leaving you. So her email wasn't very different than that note.
She didn't. She emailed him that she's already leaving.
Yeah,
she didn't say, "Hey, I'm not real happy. Can we have a meeting? Can we figure out how we can do better? Do I need to go somewhere else?"
Right.
So his response, quote, "Okay, all the best."
He probably already knew.
Unquote. We always had a nice relationship. Well, so that's actually, I'll give her some credit there. They always had a nice relationship. That's great. But if he wasn't it sounds like he wasn't getting the job done.
Yeah, probably.
So they had a nice relationship, and Judi looked out for herself, which we always encourage folks to look out for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's good. So we're not picking Judi the whole time. She says, I felt disappointed, but I guess I'm naive. A little bit. Yeah, if it really is a big 5 year relationship, and I mean, here's something that happens sometimes, Andriy. Sometimes we have somebody say they'll come to see us because their current advisor is not getting it done, and oh wow, how long have you been with that person? 15, 20 years. We have a real deep relationship and all this stuff, and we're friends. And like, well, Bob, Mary, if they're your friend and you move your money, you guys will still be friends.
Right.
If you, Bob and Mary, if you change advisors and you pull your money away from your friend and you're not friends anymore, that's not really a friend.
Yeah.
So there's that too. But I'll give Judi some credit because she says we always had a nice relationship, but she put business ahead of the relationship, which is, I think that's self-protective.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So we're not just always picking on Judi. We should call this episode "Pick on Judi Day."
That and it's something else. And this isn't anything against the advisor, but different advisors focus on different things. Like for instance, we really focus on retirement planning and making sure that in retirement you're going to be okay. And we run all sorts of projections and whatnot. But there are other advisors that all they want to do is they want to work with a 20 or 30-year-old, don't want to think about retirement, and are just out there to try and beat the market. And, if that's the type of advisor you've been with and it's worked, great. But as you're nearing retirement, that's probably not the strategy you want. And maybe you need to find a new advisor that is focusing on what's right for you. So leaving the advisor isn't the worst thing in the world.
When I was in third grade, I wore really little shoes because I had really little feet.
Yeah.
Now I'm in my early 50s and I wear a size 10, right? I can't wear the shoes I wore in third grade.
Exactly.
You should have a pediatrician when you're a kid, and then you graduate to what do they call it? An adult doctor?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
You're 30 years old, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. You're not still going to the pediatrician. Somewhere
Right.
along the way, something changed.
Yeah.
Probably a lot changed. You probably picked up I don't know, what would you pick up? You get a dermatologist, you get a urologist, you get a viscologist, you go get a cardiologist. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Probably pick up some doctors. So today I emailed my advisor of 5 years. I was going to be moving my $800,000 to Fidelity. And that, again, like I said, the $800,000 is not, well, that's interesting too. The $800,000 is not a ton of money to the advisor as far as their income. The other thing is you're moving it to Fidelity, which is, we use Fidelity as one of our third-party custodians. We use Schwab and Fidelity, so we don't possess client funds. That's a nice safeguard, so we never possess our clients' money. And then we're listed as the advisor, but we're not Schwab or Fidelity employees. So we have latitude to do some things that if we were Schwab or Fidelity employees, they wouldn't let us do, like tax planning or Social Security or, I don't know, a number of things. But if she's moving her money to Fidelity, I'm concerned, is this a Fidelity employee that will have to do what Fidelity tells them they're allowed to do? Or I would be happier if the advisor she's going to, so talking about the advisor she's going to, if that person is not a Fidelity employee, if they're independent to where they can do some things that Fidelity would rather not have all their advisors doing. And that's not a slander or slur or libel, whatever it is, against Fidelity.
Just a different business model.
Fidelity, for their captive advisors under their roof, they're going to want them to focus on investments. I actually would like the advisor to be independent of Fidelity, even if they use Fidelity's a custodian. I don't want the advisor at Fidelity to have to use Fidelity funds. I don't want the advisor at Fidelity to be told they can't give Roth conversion advice. I don't want the advisor at Fidelity to be told that they can't help you with your Medicare decisions, or that you can't refer folks to a good law firm that handles revocable living trusts and that sort of thing. I don't want the Fidelity advisor, if they're captive to a Fidelity employee, I don't want them to not be able to give Social Security advice. So Fidelity, fine company. We like to use them as a third-party custodian is how we do that. And then once in a while in our model portfolios, we might find that there's a Fidelity exchange traded fund or a Fidelity institutional mutual fund or something, but not. Only that will only happen when it's when there's a fiduciary duty to the client to have put that fund in that model portfolio. We're not going to just put all the funds in one fund family because it's neat. Usually not a great idea to have all those things from one company and usually that happens if the advisor's captive. That doesn't just happen at Fidelity. It happens at Vanguard a bunch. It
happens at pretty much all the big firms.
Yeah. Or if you're a Schwab employee, you might be encouraged to put the money in Schwab funds and things. And a lot of those funds are equal or very close. One thing we want to keep an eye on, though, is expense ratio, because a lot of these funds and ETFs now are kind of they're very comparable, very very similar, and you can get. So we shop around and that kind of thing. she thought she was only right to give him a heads up. That's not really a heads up, Judi, let's be honest. His response, okay, all the best, because you already told him you're leaving. Sounds like Judi, it sounds like you already made up your mind. I can argue with you. It's your money. I actually want to give that advisor credit that he didn't start a big argument like it's his money, because it's not his money.
Right. And
imagine that. Some people, not this person that we're talking about, but some people forget whose money it is. We always had a nice relationship, but I felt disappointed. I guess I'm naive. No, it's okay, Judi. You know what? Sometimes, this won't make me popular with some of the ladies. Sometimes women take the advisor breakup more emotionally than it really is. And her advisor, she said he's a guy. Yeah. So the advisor is kind of, I think in this case, seeing it more like business, like, well, you already made your decision and there's more of a cut and dry. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then she might actually be feeling like, well, gee, I thought there was going to be I thought he was going to cry. You got the Kleenex.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
call me, beg for my business back.
Yeah.
That could be it too. Maybe she's mad that he didn't beg for the business.
Yeah. And we've heard that a time or two, that people have left their advisors and they were hoping that they'd get a call and whatnot. But in this kind of situation, it seems very cut and dry. It's when you tell him you're leaving, he's not going to email you back an argument. It's just, it's very businesslike, and he has to move on with his day, and clearly you've moved on as well.
Yeah, because she said she was going to give him the heads up, but she didn't give him the heads up.
There's no heads up.
She sent an email, I'm leaving.
Yeah, if you're unhappy, a heads up is, hey, can we work on this? But instead of, hey, I'm gone.
Like, it's not like, honey, we have to talk. It's like, hey, guess what?
Here's the papers.
Divorce papers are on the kitchen table there, and I'm in the hotel. Yep. I'm moving on.
The lawyer,
Judy's already found a new boyfriend. Or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So, there's a lot of emotion when it comes to money and into our relationships, even with the professionals we work with, a financial planner, whoever it is. And it's funny that on the one hand, Judy's like, I'm all business. On the other hand, she's like, why doesn't he miss me? It could be on Hallmark. Do you think this could be on Hallmark, Andriy?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe if he bought maybe if this gentleman bought one of those lumberjack shirts and he adopted a couple rescue kittens.
Yeah, there you go.
And if he still had a hand free, if he brought her some hot cocoa with the marshmallows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe just one kitten in one hand and then the hot cocoa with the marshmallow in the other.
Yeah.
That's more like a Christmas, one of those Christmas movies they do.
Yeah.
Natalie does. Natalie watches that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not.
Natalie either watches, what are those? I always make fun of them. Those ones where you find out your husband's an axe murderer or something.
Oh, I don't know.
Like it's like when murder attacks.
Yeah, I know. I don't watch enough TV to know these, but like, Lauren watches those too.
My husband was a serial killer.
Yep. Didn't you have some clues at a time?
Yeah, it's either like when murder attacks, or it's on the Hallmark Channel about the guy who he owns an apple orchard and he splits wood with an axe, but then he still has a softer side, and he runs a kitten rescue, and then he also, like, they live in a log cabin, but it's a luxury log cabin, and,
right?
And they only eat the organic berries from the east side of the mountain or something.
Yeah, I think you just wrote a movie right there.
They're all, everything on Hallmark's the same.
Yeah, that's true.
You could just mute
new names.
Yeah, I would say you can mute it. Please mute it. And then it's like the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. So anyway, Andriy, we really irritated Judi today, making fun of her.
Probably.
Yeah, we probably made her advisor feel better if he's listening. So we do have some financial planners listen to the podcast, the Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker podcast. And so maybe Judi feels worse. Maybe she feels better. Maybe we turn the frown upside down.
Yeah, maybe
explain things from the other side. Like, $800,000 is a good chunk of money, but your advisor doesn't make $800,000.
Yeah.
It's not his money. That's the whole point. Not his money.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness. Well, we will talk to you in the next episode of the Retirement Decoded podcast. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up, a star or something, share it on Facebook, tell a friend, phone a friend. Text the episode to a friend. I don't know. You could do a lot of stuff in these smartphones, Andriy.
Yeah, you could text it. That'd be a great way to share it.
Share. The more you share, the more you care, Andriy.
Well, and
I thought we had a good relationship.
And next Monday, when you're listening to it, you can reshare it again.
Yeah, every Monday at 5 a.m. Central Time, and we'll have a new episode out for you. So subscribe, share it, do whatever, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and or legal advice. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. A Roth conversion is a taxable event and may have several tax-related consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. The views and opinions herein are those of Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc.